Fox show is gonna be on the red carpet doing her Xavia Fox red carpet thing.
Hey everybody! Yeah! Can't win, not in the game. Give me a beat. Because I've been in a relationship where I was sexually mismatched with that person, and that was how I got in this situation. It's a whole long story. But I stayed because there were kids involved. You know, my daughter, and then his mom had died, and we got custody of his little brother. I couldn't leave him, so I stayed until the boy got 18 or whatever, you know, which was 4 years, but you know, it was still 4 years of being sexually mismatched. You know, I have my appetite, which is what it is, and his appetite was like once every 2 months.
That's never happened to me.
So yeah, I need to know within that year that we're living together. I need to see what your frequency naturally is. You know, I need to. You know, I'm not gonna press you for it. I want to see how much he gonna come for it.
And in that situation, there was no remedy. All could be the communication. Like, look at me like that.
It's sad.
Oh wow.
You have to
Say no names. Say no names.
And, I mean, you know, he was also like a video game addict. So I mean, there were times when I would do the little extra stuff. I remember this one time. I just hate to tell this story.
Tell it.
I remember this one time. You know, I went and got the little cute little outfit and stuff. You know, little outfit and put on the heels and all that stuff. And I went and stood in front of the TV, and he was like, "Oh, you look nice." He said, "But you know you're in front of the TV." He said, "I'm in the middle of a game." I'm like, "For real." So yeah, you know, my little ego was crushed and stuff, you know, but that was what it was. But I'm saying all that to say, you know, we research everything else, but a lot of times when we're getting into relationships, it's just going to be a lifetime. Because we know we're going to trade a car in.
I'm going to test drive a car if I buy it. I'm not just going to research it.
Exactly. Exactly. But we don't test drive.
See, now here, I got a little different approach to the whole sex, and sex before marriage. I'm not saying that I won't have sex before marriage. And I think that the thing changes once you have had sex. It comes from my upbringing, and the thing is, although I was, you know, I'm a preacher's kid, and some people say that was the worst kind, you know, but my mother never forced it on me that I was not supposed to be intimate. If I was ready, she was like, "Let me know. We'll do birth control. Let me know, whatever." See, my take on sex before marriage. At this stage, I can't say that I would not have sex because I've opened that door. But you're not about to get it on. Like, I have to say something. You're not about to get every little trick I got. You may have tried this one with that one, and I may have tried that one with this one, but I'm not about to consistently on it. Whenever you want it, you get it. You just not. Because to me, and it's weird because I used to be completely no. You know, I'll put it out there. I was married until I was 24. That was my choice.
Wow.
And I was engaged to the person that I decided to give it to. And he knows. Hi. No, he's married now. So awesome, you know. But so that was my choice. But that didn't work out. You know. So that's why I realized life hit me hard later on in years, and I was like, oh. It's not a fairy tale. Oh, this is, you know, this is what's going on.
Doesn't that make it easier for you to be more discerning if you're not having sex with people you're dating?
I think so. I think so. And so I think absolutely. And the thing is, but I can't say once you had it and you had it, I'll keep it real, had it good. It's hard to be like, okay, well, no, I'm not gonna have sex, especially if you love the person and especially if you're attracted to that person. But I will not allow you to get everything. And I will not bring it all, and that's just kind of how I feel. Because, and here's the reason why: because I've been in situations where I did try to get it all, and then it didn't work. And so now this person got all of me, and you know, but you moved on to the next one, and I'm left here, and I'm supposed to move on to, the next one, and they give you, and I hate to say, but men and women are a little bit different. Men are projectors; they give off. Women are receptors, we take in. Men are projectors. Men are projectors, meaning they give off. And that's why it's so much easier for them to leave. Because they get it out and they go. And that's, you know, not to put it like that, but it's pretty much, and we are receivers. We're receptors, we take it in. And so we're trying to, women are walking around, why are we so weighted? Why are we so heavy? Who you been with?
And you know what? There's a scientific thing to add to that.
I'm telling you.
When a woman, seriously, when a woman has an orgasm, there's this thing in our brain, this chemical that's released, it's called oxytocin.
Yes.
And it makes us bond.
It makes us
to the
bond.
person that we're with.
And I'm
so we walk around bonding to everybody. Well, that's it's chemical. You can't stop it.
Not all, and that's since
You
we're talking
can,
about
you know what?
differences,
No.
so I'm talking about as far as the bonding. I
You
know that it
you can consciously say, but your physiological.
When you feel back
just let me say, because I've called into talk shows on this stuff,
Okay.
and women say, well, you can't date a guy and have sex with him and, not have these emotions, not this and that and other. And I tell people all the time, you do realize there are 7 billion people on this earth. And what is true for some is not true for all. And I am one of those women who does not know.
But you that might be a conscious decision you made to not bond. Because I know you said that you don't let the stuff in your past affect your present, but you also said that you went the exact opposite way from the way that your mom went. So it may be a conscious decision that you've made to not bond with a man. You said you've been single for 10 years. So you have set up boundaries. There was a time in my 20s when, I was doing what I did. And I didn't bond with a lot of them bonded with me. They wanted relationships. And I was just like, no. Because that's not where I was mentally, but that was a conscious decision. I could have let myself go there with whoever, because what you're saying then is not that you have chosen to be single, but what you're saying now, if you are incapable of bonding, that you have no choice about being single.
No, for me, it's not. I'm one of those people who doesn't believe that for everyone, sex is emotional. I believe it's physical. For some people,
it is physical.
And for me, it's just physical and it's just biological. And I don't think about it like he had sex with me and he had an orgasm and he hugged me and he loves me. I'm not
like that.
But I feel what you're saying, but it's not that deep of, he loves me. I'm saying it goes deep. No, I'm talking about, for those, we're talking about the ones that, they get all emotional stuff. I'm talking about that deep connection is called soul tie. It's very, very, very real. And the thing is, it's not necessarily about, he loves me, but it's like, why am I acting like this? Like, meaning that you've taken on his spirit. You'll be doing things and saying things that you wouldn't normally do, but not because you connected to that person.
I heard someone on the radio show a couple weeks ago, they said, stop letting these men all up in your room, moving all the furniture around.
Wow.
This one brought a couch in and brought a chair in, and now they got their man cave set up to how they want it, but it's in your body.
Wow.
And we were all just like,
bam.
we were all mad.
Bam.
We were all like,
that's what I'm talking about. But that's hilarious. That's hilarious. But that's what I'm saying.
It was hilarious, but it was true. Like we all thought about it. Like,
it is so true.
Stop moving furniture around up in here. And everybody's bringing their own piece of furniture and leaving it there.
Because like you said, we are receptors, we receive, But for me, the way that I view sex, how women will say, ooh, I'm gonna fuck him. We don't fuck them. We get fucked. Yeah. We participate in the act.
Right. Oh, I see what you mean.
But they penetrate us. We have never penetrated them. Whether you on top, riding like a cowgirl, you still are being penetrated. Period. We don't do them. So that whole receptor thing, I like to do.
Yeah. When they say that, they're saying it's not always the love connection. When they're saying that act, it's like I'm just doing it for the physical, to get the cookies off, get the rocks off, whatever you want to say.
That falls into what you were saying in the other show about women being the new men.
Lord. Yeah, that's a good topic, and I don't like it. I don't.
But we already talked about it. We already actually talked about it
because these women are relentless.
But they are the person that she talked about. That they never learned how to be that woman, so they're not in touch with being a woman.
And the man never knew how to be the man, so they got whole new species of women.
So women are the new men in a lot of cases, and they're forced to be that. And we tend to think it's more of a cultural thing because when we look at the statistics, the white statistics versus the black statistics, 52% of our black kids live in a single parent home. Now, the bad part about that is 18% live in a father single parent home. So 70% of our black kids are in single parent homes. Only 30% of our black kids have two parents living in the same house.
That's why I said it's so unusual. It's like a unicorn.
When you go to the white side, only 32%. Was it 32 or 18? I don't remember their statistics, but I know it was like way, like half, even more than half. We don't have families anymore.
But anymore, because that's what I'm saying. When we started at. I mean, our culture is founded on family. It takes a village. It takes the whole. You know, the dad was there, the mom was there, and the extra wives. Everybody was there.
Right.
All in the same month. And family was what it was about. Period. I don't know what happened.
Because look at what was our tradition? Sunday dinner, where all the family gets together.
Right.
Now you got all the women and the kids get together.
Right.
There's no family. There's no men there anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, I have one lady on my page, and when I said, what were you told growing up about relationships and marriage? And she told me, she said, you know, I watch your show. She said, I've learned so much. She said, because none of the women in my family are married. They all got kids, but none of them are married. And so she said, whatever it is that they telling me, it's gotta be wrong. And I have to agree with her, because I mean, if you keep doing the same thing, you know, each family member has done the same thing. They're sharing information, and the information is wrong. If I keep telling you that 2 times 2 is 6, and you keep getting it wrong, at some point you need to come back and say, hey, X, you know, I think you need to recheck that.
Right. Or
you know,
sometimes they're doing the same thing and they're acting as if it's not wrong. It's like, ain't nothing wrong with this thing, ain't nothing wrong with ain't nothing wrong with this, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it ain't right.
Exactly.
But you know what I mean?
Exactly.
People find ways to justify their position.
They do.
And then they do that so that they don't have to look at themselves in a negative light.
Yep.
And so then they'll just keep perpetuating the same cycle, because nobody wants to really just fess up.
No, it's not right.
Right.
I'm not supposed to be raising 4 children by myself.
Right.
That's not right. But, you know, I'm not one of those
See,
people.
we all got quiet. It's just like, okay, we ain't gonna say that. Real talk, that's right.
That's real. But, you know, I'm not one of those people who said, you know, I'm right, what I do is right. Because sometimes, like, I get into little arguments with my mom with, you know, how I raise my kids. And I said, well, you know, I'm not perfect.
Right.
And I don't do everything just right. But, you know, it works well for me. If nobody's bleeding or dying, always right. Always, okay, this thing, I get them in the morning. You know, and I just say, I know it may not be right, it may not be perfect, but it's okay, we're going to keep it moving. Some people just walk around like, I'm this and I'm that, I got 6 kids and 8 baby daddies, and everything's fine. And it's okay. And it's not okay. You know, I'm the first to admit it's not, I'm not.
And you're exactly right about that, though. People, they have, and I say that too, just because you are doing it doesn't make that it's right, mean that it's right. You know, people get, well, this is just, I have a lady on my page, and whenever the cheating subject comes up, because, you know, her story is that she was cheated on, and she stayed for years. And so now, when we talk about, you know, women being cheated on and staying, and why do they stay, you know, it's a low self-esteem, she will never admit to having low self-esteem. So she always defends that, you know, people have different reasons that they stay, and, you know, cheating may not be the deal breaker, and, you know, all this stuff.
This is her husband?
No, it wasn't her husband.
I feel like sometimes in situations, cheating is not the deal breaker. If I don't know if you guys saw that. I think it was I don't know if it was a movie or it was the TV show Sex and the City, and what's her name? Amanda, the one with the red hair. Miranda, right? She, her husband ended up cheating. She cheated on her. But I'm not trying to give him credit. But she was not being the wife that he needed at all. She was not, and they were married, and she was not having sex with him. She was not taking care of him. She treated him like he was nothing, and he did it once. You know, and it wasn't something he did. And then he was apologetic, and he admitted I might forgive you. But see, the thing is, I'm the one that I hold it in my head. Yeah, exactly.
That's another conversation I had, and I think I'm gonna go there again one day, because people always want to say that whoever is the person that cheated is because that there's something deficient with them or whatever, and sometimes it's not. Because like I just said, I was in that 6-year relationship where we were sexually mismatched, and he wasn't trying to meet me halfway. He was what he was, and I was in the relationship for the reasons I was there. So if I had cheated, was it because I had a deficiency? I had a deficiency because I couldn't get what I needed from the person that I was supposed to get it from.
But I think it's a natural human reaction to go to what satisfies us, to gravitate towards what makes us happy.
Especially
if
after
our partner isn't making us
especially
happy,
after you try.
we're gonna gravitate.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's not just one
yeah.
person. It's not the person who's cheating.
Right.
There's this other person over here that
Absolutely.
may not be putting in the effort either.
Exactly.
I mean, you put a plant in next to a wall with no window, pretty soon it's going to start leaning towards the window.
Wow.
Because I've been in relationships, serious ones and casual ones, where there was a sexual mismatch, or maybe it's just something wasn't going right. And I have always been the great communicator.
Oh God.
I dated a guy who was I guess a 2-minute man, and none of his previous women were complaining. And another woman might say, well, he's just a 2-minute man. And I had a conversation with him, and he really was not a 2-minute man. But the other women were accepting that. And I mean, he was the opposite of a 2-minute man.
But that's the whole thing. If I'm gonna give it up, then I'm
we communicate. She's on that wife, and I'm like, what? My wife doesn't give head or whatever. She stopped giving head. And I'm like, well, did you talk to her about that, or did you just go out and get some head? And
right.
I don't want to bring it up. I'm like, this is your wife. What do you mean you don't want to bring it up?
Right.
But she's a church girl, and I'm like,
That's your wife, honey.
Right.
I'm trying to tell these brothers, y'all put a ring on the finger, ain't no hold bar.
That's right.
None. None. And but see, people don't. But things have gotten messed up because then you have people who say that they're going to hold out to marriage, and then when they get into marriage, then they still don't get stuff
holding out.
And they still hold out
Because they've never learned to.
Right, and then that's the part that is jacked up some of the other men. Like, no, I need to get it now because or they give it up all during before, and then when they get married, they stop. Nothing else to give. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to do a little balance.
Something else to give.
Right, it is.
better and better.
It is. I truly believe that, but you gotta have 2 people who are willing to make it better.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. Interesting. Well, we have been submitted to your man, so all this conversation, like, give it up. Yeah, you believe in that? Hey. Okay. What is one myth that you are aware of about your culture or race, and how do you feel about
Overall, not just relationships.
it? No, just overall. Kind of pertaining to relationships, but just overall. For me, one of the myths that I feel we're all judged by is that black women have attitudes. And yes, there are some that have attitudes. But there are those of us who don't really have attitudes. Because we don't really care to have attitude.
Right.
We don't care enough about it to have attitude. No, I'm not I tried it. The fingers goes in your neck.
It doesn't work for you.
It doesn't work for me. I don't it's just never been, who I was. So, not all of us do that. So that's like my myth. So what is one myth about your culture that you know of, and how do you feel about it?
I think one for me is I get this a lot because especially being an online culture these days, you get all, especially like on Facebook and Twitter and all these different social media sites, you get all kind of people. Especially like for me, I have like 4,000 friends, like 5,000 friends, something like that. And so I get all kinds of people popping up, and from different countries and different types of things like that. And they always say ebony freak or something like that. Now always. I mean, with some of them, they'll say ebony freak or something like that. And I think the stereotype that I've seen a lot is that African American women are freaks and hoes. And that's what we do. That's how we get down. And I'm not trying to put, like people like Nicki Minaj and those type of people out there like that. They do what they do. But unfortunately, we don't have enough positive examples to kind of balance it out. So they think that all African Americans are, like you said, rolling that neck, snapping that finger, shaking that ass. And that's not who I am. And that's not who a lot of my friends are.
Right.
I said a lot because I got probably some of those stereotypes,
right.
But that's one of the stereotypes.
And if you are, there's nothing wrong with that, but that doesn't mean we're all black.
Exactly. So I'm not trying to not, do what you do, but at the same time, that's not every African American woman.
I think the myth for me, and I hate to say this because, people really believe sometimes just based on the fact that I have brown skin and I'm an African American woman, that I am unintelligent. I have come across people in different cultures and in just playing word games online, having chat with people, and they're just like, oh, you're so smart. And I'm like, oh, is that supposed to be a compliment? Because you automatically assume that I'm stupid. I took a placement test for school, and the guy comes back in, he says, wow, you got a 31. Are you saying that because I'm black or because people don't want to get a 31? And he just said, it's a very high number. He looked at my other, just so surprised. And then when I meet, especially a white person, when I meet them, they're nice, and then they get to know me, and it's just like, oh, wow, you're just so this and so that.
You're not like the rest of them.
I've
heard that so many
times. I am from the hood. I mean, the hood. I'm from the wood.
In the wood.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm intelligent enough to know that you have to be different things for different people.
That's right.
And it's not going to be in phony, but I talk one way in the wood and I talk another way down.
Right.
And I am very intelligent. I know long words. I got good grades in school. So it's like, don't think because I walk in and I'm black and I'm from the South Side, I'm just stupid. And people actually think like that. And I don't think because you're white, you're smart. Right. I take each person on an individual basis. So,
You can have one from the Indian side and from the white side.
I was really trying to
or the
think.
countryside or the city side.
I know, right? I was really trying to think what the biggest myth is. The one that I've been asked the most, that I've had to dispel every time, is, do we still live in teepees?
Oh, wow.
I mean, people say, well, can white people come on the reservation? One of the things that I want to ask, come to the reservation? People still ask me.
Is it okay to say Indian?
Because I just keep saying Native American. I feel more comfortable because you guys, from what I understand, are not Indian at all. You're Native American because Indians are from the eastern.
Colombians hit the wrong shore.
Right, exactly.
Right? I think it's like you keep saying black, and sometimes
But
I wonder, should I say black or should I say African American?
Right.
And some people say, I'm not from Africa, I'm black.
And see, that's
you got all
I'm not
it's
from
the
Africa,
same thing. But
I've never been there.
for me, the whole while I was growing up when I was younger, it was Indian. I'm Indian, I'm Indian. And then all of a sudden came this politically correct movement where you no longer call black, you call them African American. You no longer call Indians, you call them Native Americans.
Yes, but now you see on the forums, they'll say black, African American, whatever you want. You fall into this category.
Latino, not black.
I actually did that post on my page a couple weeks right around when Black History started. I was like, are you black or are you African American, and what does that mean? Because I feel like, for me, I'm kind of just me. I'm brown. But I'm not from Africa, so what? I'm just, me.
I think we'd be
But I'm black.
African if we had more African American culture as Italian Americans and Irish Americans.
Right.
Their approach.
Because we don't know anything about Africa, most of us.
Oh,
I am hearing a lot
But it's
more,
not
a lot more people that are Native American that probably more in the past said I'm Indian, now more saying I'm Native. Just native. What are you? I'm native. So
We really all could just say we're American. And at some point, we're all going to be, it's just going to be the American race because there's so much mixed. Yeah, wow.
We don't be the same.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, that we can't have that.
No. And there's a hierarchy. No one's
Right.
better than each
So the
other.
other things that I think of, stereotypes, and I don't know. Well, you know what? Maybe let me ask you. What do you? What is
Well,
your
that's actually my
stereotype?
next question.
Oh,
That's actually my next
Oh,
question.
okay.
So, you know, the myth about your
What are
culture,
our
how you feel about it, and, well, the thing was then to ask you if you thought that myth was accurate and how the myth got started. So for me, with the myth that I brought up with black women have attitudes, is the myth accurate? 50, 60% maybe? 50% accurate? Half of us got attitudes.
But I think what you have to say is, I will say a lot of black women do have attitudes,
'Cause I met some
but a
Latino
lot of black
women.
women have a reason to have
Come on
attitudes.
here. That's what I'm saying.
I was born with this attitude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of black women, you know, got the men and the left, the kids, and rape, and all kind of things that are going on. So you're like, I gotta be strong, I gotta be sassy, I gotta let you know I don't play.
Right.
You know, so a lot of them do have. Now, if you're walking around with attitude for just no reason, you know, that's a different story. Because like you're taking on the myth as a black woman.
But how many people walk around with an attitude without a reason?
I
mean,
point,
look
Marty.
at a child.
Even if they don't
A
realize
child-
the reason, yeah.
A child is happy. They laugh. They cry when they need something, but they laugh. They're happy. They're pure love. You know, if you hug them, you hold them, they feel it, they accept it, they return it. We're not born to walk around with an attitude.
But I think
See it-
something happened.
A
Something
child up to
happened.
the age of 2 that walks around with an attitude?
Something
No.
happened.
To age 5, do they walk around with an attitude?
Not unless something is happening.
When does the attitude start? The attitude starts when they get to be preteens, when they've had this, and that happen along their life. And then now this is happening, and when they're developing, and it's making them feel insecure and unsure and not feeling right, there comes the attitude. So
But I
that's
do
one
think
great point.
sometimes it is emulation. Because I tell people all the time, I don't have much, but I'm pretty happy. Like, you know, some people they'll say, oh, Tasha, you know, she's a firecracker, this and that. I am, but like a firecracker is good. I'm crazy. You know? I make people laugh and stuff. But I don't walk around with attitude. People speak, I speak. President, if I'm on the street, I speak to everybody. I wake up every morning with a good attitude. To the kids, to me out. But I wake up every morning with a good attitude, you know, and I have people around me who, I mean, they've had things happen, they have attitude, but I'm like, you know, all that stuff that you went through in the past, you're here now. I've had some horrible, horrific things happen to me, and I can look back and talk to you about it. So there's no need to think about that, I have an attitude about that. And I'm like I said earlier, nobody believes in a damn, everything's up.
It's a choice. I could sit here and walk around with the worst attitude in the whole world because I've had more things than most people happen to me. But I choose to not let those things that happen to me affect the attitude that I give to the next person because something happened to me. Why would I treat that person bad? They didn't do anything to me. So it's a choice. But there are things that lead to people protecting themselves by having an attitude.
That's what I was going to
Because
say.
you have an attitude to not let that person in.
Yeah.
Because that's not safe for you.
It's not safe anymore.